for Nigerians testing the laws, and I'm glad that Femi Falana said is going to approach the appropriate courts to challenge this particular increase, even though Lagos State government is insisting that there is no going back. But we'd like to see what the verdict of the court is on this matter.
Mm. He said he's here to take it to court, though, but we hope he,
Mm.
puts his money where his mouth is. All right. Now, the Lagos State government has increased boarding fees in all secondary schools across the state. The Lagos State Ministry of Education has, however, justified the increase by citing rising costs in maintaining school facilities, the feeding the students, and providing quality education in boarding schools. The ministry also highlighted that the previous fees had not been adjusted in several years, despite inflation and other economic pressures. The fee increase, of course, has reignited a lot of conversations, discussions on the cost of public education in Nigeria and the need for sustainable government policies to balance quality education with affordability for families. When the government is complaining about the rising cost of maintenance and feeding, who's to be held responsible for the rising cost of maintaining school facilities? Like, why is the brunt on the people? I think that's part of the big question. If the government is complaining, then what are the people supposed to do? Because I expect that one part of the conversations going on is like, okay, it's up to the government to get the economy working at all levels, states, federal. You make policies, you boost productivity, you look inward to generate revenue so that the economy can boom. But if the government says, I'm increasing the cost because of the inflation and everything, so who then is going to tackle the issue that is leading to the rising cost of everything in the country?
Interesting. I think that's one of the things you get for being in Nigeria. Just like you said, if you have the government complaining, but I do not think that the parents are unreasonable, because this is what the statement that the Lagos State government put out is making it look like. I think that if you give a proper breakdown on the fees, and maybe if you had a meeting with them prior before, there's always a PTA in almost all the schools owned by the government and even private institutions to explain the cost implication of having those students stay in the boarding house, how much they don't have to pay for maybe diesel or petrol if they are using generator, how much they have to pay for food, for stationaries, how much they need to pay the teachers and all of that. I'm sure that they would understand. But I think what I have a problem with is you just coming out of the blue and announcing that increase without, like we say in Nigeria, carrying them along. I think that if they had done that, we wouldn't have this
Someone
issue.
made a statement that, independence is just around the corner. How many years has it been? At this point, shouldn't it be the case? I saw that post on Twitter and I was like, okay, shouldn't it be the case of, at this point we are now, we should even be talking about free public schools, not just free, standard schools. Basic needs should be free. I think somebody mentioned that on the program yesterday. Talk about food, shelter, talk about access to even free transportation, almost free. Commuting should not be difficult. It should be, and not the case of, oh, okay, this is there's an increase because there's inflation. That happened with the passports as well. Everything is increasing.
Yes,
So it's
almost
like, okay,
everything.
we're adding because materials to produce. So who is supposed to be responsible for ensuring that things are not getting more expensive? That's one of the big questions we're asking. We have our guest, teacher, counselor, counseling psychologist, and education administrator, Israel Agbeja. All right. And later on, do we have Oyidame? Okay, later on, we're going to have Adeoju. He's an educationist and diction coach. He's going to join us later on the program to go over this conversation. Welcome, Israel. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Israel Agbeja, and thank you for bringing me on the show this morning.
All right, Israel, welcome. Let's get your reaction to the school fees hike right now. Let's use Lagos as a case study because this is happening in schools across the country, both private and, so what do you think about this move by the Lagos state government?
I didn't quite get the question well.
What is your reaction to the move by the Lagos state government to increase boarding fees in all secondary schools across the state?
Okay. I think it's a general knowledge that this will impact on the finances of families. Definitely, low-income families, low-income earning families, particularly, will be most affected by this. And they just might not be able to afford it anymore. Generally speaking, This might increase the rate of dropouts. They might have to, take their children to, schools where they can afford, schools where the facilities are not there, schools where they may not be able to boast of what the teachers are able to offer. Sadly, that's our reality in Nigeria. And because of this, some students, some children might be denied what should be their basic rights. They might be denied the opportunity of getting, quality education. At least they might be denied of the opportunity of getting the level of quality of education that they've been exposed to the most. They'll feel this the most. They might end up having to, take their children to some relatives, to attend day schools that are not well financed, that do not have enough facilities. And like I said, they might just be denied of the level of quality of education that they've been, exposed to. And then about quality, well, the increase in price or increase in the school fee does not automatically translate to improved quality. That takes a level of intentionality from the government that the fee has increased does not automatically mean the quality will be sustained or that the quality will improve. We all know that the fee might increase and then the money might be put into something else. So I think this is a reason for Lagosians to call on the government and remind the government and, keep on the neck of the government that the quality must, one, not decline, and if possible, the quality should increase because increase in fee does not automatically, translate to improvement in quality or even sustaining the quality. So talking of materials that will need to be bought, apparatus in the laboratory, talking of the quality of classroom furniture, the quality of the environment, the quality of the teachers, remuneration for the teachers too, their total package and everything. All these are the things that will influence the quality of their delivery in the class. And then this physical facility that I talked about earlier too, these are the factors that may also improve the learning, of students in the school too. So if the fee has been increased, and now as the fee has been increased now, if all those things are put, in place, the facilities become better, the pay of the teachers also increase, because the teachers are also part of the society. They're also experiencing what we all are experiencing currently. This may translate to either improving the quality or sustaining the quality.
Okay.
But except the government intentionally invest the money back into the schools, it may actually amount to nothing. The fee just increases and then the quality continues to dwindle.
All right, Biodun, you have questions.
All right, Visual, thank you for providing answers to some of those questions. Very insightful. But first, I would like to ask, because there's always a debate around, if you're listening to us in the opening remarks, we're talking about whose duty or responsibility it is to provide education. And some people will argue that education should be a social service, and that should be the responsibility of government. And by that, they mean that maybe to a certain level, maybe to basic 9, for example, or up through secondary school. Or some would even argue, even up to tertiary education, it should be free. The government should be responsible for providing for it. But we have a case where in some states that is not so. So you work in that sector. I mean, you've been there for so many years. What side of the argument would you tilt to? Do you think that education should be solely government's responsibility? So we are not even having a conversation around an increase in tuition or in boarding fees or whatever it is, whether it's in Lagos or some other state in the country.
Okay, yeah. I would say that education should be free for the first 9 years. It's a universal basic thing. Is a universal thing. We have the universal basic education, the UBE, agreed on at the platform of the United Nations. Education should be free for the first 9 years, and the essence of that is to give children basic life skills, basic arithmetic skills. I mean arithmetic, ability to read, think logically, right, and from there they can pick up whatever direction they want to go to in life with the guidance of their parents and teachers and so on and so forth. Now, it's even at that point that there is a problem in Nigeria. Now, if basic education in Nigeria are that quality that it is meant to have, we may not really have many of the private schools that we have. If I ask you, why do you think parents take their children to private schools? It's not because the basic education is not available in public schools. In some places, it's not even because it's overcrowded. There are places where public schools do not even have many students. It is simply because of the quality that is there. So the universal basic education of the thing, it is agreed on by many countries as belong to the UN, as under the umbrella of the UN. But the problem we have in Nigeria is the quality of it. And if I hear you right, now progressing beyond, basic education, that